Ladies and gentlemen, trust is the invisible thread that holds together relationships, teams, communities, and even nations. It is fragile yet powerful, simple yet profound. Without trust, the strongest bonds weaken. With it, the impossible becomes possible. Today, I want to share with you the 7 essential elements of trust, qualities that don't just inspire belief in others, but also reflect the kind of character we should strive to build in ourselves. First, honesty. This is the foundation. Trust is impossible without truth. When we speak with sincerity, when our words align with our hearts, we invite others to believe in us. Second, consistency. It's not enough to be honest once. Trust is built brick by brick, moment by moment. A single act of integrity may open the door, but it is consistency that keeps it open. Third, transparency. Hidden motives and vague intentions destroy confidence. When we are clear about our goals, our mistakes, and even our uncertainties, we invite connection rather than suspicion. Fourth, respect. We cannot expect trust where there is disrespect. When we listen, truly listen, we show others they matter. Trust flourishes where dignity is upheld. Fifth, reliability. Actions speak louder than promises. If we say we'll do something, we must follow through. The most trustworthy people are those whose actions don't need explaining. Sixth, empathy. When people know we understand them, they begin to trust us with more than just tasks. They trust us with their emotions, their dreams, even their fears. And finally, accountability. We all stumble, we all fall short. But those who own their mistakes, who take responsibility and make amends, those are the ones we trust most. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and doubt, trust remains a beacon. If we live by these 7 elements, not perfectly but intentionally, we won't just build trust. We'll become trustworthy. Trust begins here. Honesty is not just about telling the truth. It's about living in truth. It is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship, whether personal, professional, or societal. When someone speaks honestly, they offer more than just facts. They offer themselves. They say, "This is who I am, and this is what I believe," without fear or manipulation. But honesty isn't always easy. In fact, it's often the harder choice. It means telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable, even when it might not benefit us in the moment. It's being truthful not only when asked, but even when we know we could get away with silence. It means we don't twist the facts to suit our agenda or hide behind partial truths to avoid responsibility. And honesty isn't just verbal, it's behavioral. It's behavioral. It's reflected in how we act when no one is watching. It's in the way we do business, how we treat others, and the choices we make every day. A truly honest person doesn't just speak truth, they embody it. Their life becomes a reflection of their words. Moreover, honesty fosters clarity. It removes confusion, eliminates second-guessing, and builds a foundation where trust can grow. People gravitate toward those who are genuine, who say what they mean and mean what they say. There's a sense of security that comes from knowing that someone is being real with you, not trying to deceive, impress, or manipulate. Yet honesty also requires courage. It challenges us to be vulnerable, to admit when we don't know, when we've made a mistake, or when we've changed our mind. But that kind of transparency only deepens trust, because when people see that we are honest even at a cost, they learn that they can rely on us fully and without reservation. Without honesty, everything else, reliability, empathy, accountability, becomes hollow. Trust cannot survive in the absence of truth. That is why honesty must always be the starting point. The first, and perhaps the most powerful element of trust. If honesty is the foundation of trust, consistency is the structure that holds it upright. Trust doesn't emerge from a single act of integrity. It is built slowly, layer by layer, through repeated, reliable behavior over time. People don't just trust what you say, they trust what you repeatedly do. Consistency means showing up. Not once or twice, but always. It means being dependable not only when it's convenient, but also when it's difficult. Anyone can be kind, fair, or responsible in a single moment. But the real test of trustworthiness lies in whether we can be those things day after day, under pressure, in adversity, and even when no one is watching. Think about the people you trust most. Chances are they are not only honest, but consistent. You know what to expect from them. You don't have to wonder how they'll react or whether they'll follow through. There is a rhythm to their actions, a stability that gives you confidence. That's what consistency provides. Predictability, and with predictability comes security. Inconsistency, on the other hand, creates doubt. When someone is kind one day and dismissive the next, truthful one moment but evasive the next, we hesitate. We become cautious. We start to second guess. Even one breach of consistency can shake a foundation that took years to build. That's why consistency requires discipline. It's a choice we must make again and again, in both the big moments and the small ones. Consistency is also deeply connected to character. It reveals what a person values, not just once, but repeatedly. It shows whether our principles are situational or steadfast. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean we have to be perfect. Life is messy, and people are human. But even in our flaws, consistency is found in how we handle them. Do we take responsibility every time? Do we seek to improve, learn, and do better every single time? That too is consistency. Ultimately, consistency communicates respect. When we are consistent with others, we say, "You can count on me, you matter enough for me to be reliable." Whether in leadership, friendship, family, or community, it's not grand gestures that build the deepest trust. It's small, steady actions repeated with integrity. Transparency is the light that keeps trust alive. While honesty is about truth in words and actions, transparency takes it a step further. It's about openness. It's about willingly sharing information, intentions, and reasoning, even when we aren't required to. If trust is the bridge between people, respect is the support beam that holds it up. Without respect, trust becomes shallow, conditional, and easily broken. Respect is about more than just politeness or good manners. It's a deep acknowledgement of someone's inherent worth, rights, feelings, and perspectives. Respect says, "You matter, not because of what you can do for me, but because of who you are." It is demonstrated in how we speak to others, how we listen, and how we respond, even when we disagree. Especially when we disagree. In moments of tension or conflict, respect becomes the true test of character. At its core, respect is about recognition. It's recognizing that every person, regardless of status, background, or belief, has dignity. When we treat others with that awareness, trust naturally follows. People are far more willing to be open, honest, and vulnerable when they feel safe. Safe from judgment, ridicule, or dismissal. Listening is one of the clearest and most powerful expressions of respect. Truly listening, not to respond, not to defend, but to understand, creates space for empathy and connection. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. And where people feel valued, trust begins to take root. Respect also means honoring boundaries. It means we don't take advantage of someone's time, space, or trust. It's recognizing that everyone has limits, and that pushing past those limits, whether through control, manipulation, or pressure, undermines relationships. A respectful person doesn't demand loyalty. They earn it through understanding, patience, and fairness. In professional settings, respect builds strong teams. When colleagues feel respected, they're more likely to collaborate, share ideas, and contribute with confidence. In families and friendships, respect lays the groundwork for mutual appreciation and long-term connection. And in leadership, respect isn't optional. It's essential. Leaders who treat others with respect gain influence not through fear or authority, but through earned admiration. But perhaps most importantly, respect must begin with self-respect. If we don't value ourselves, our time, our values, our voice, it becomes difficult to extend genuine respect to others. Those who trust themselves, who honor their own integrity and boundaries, are the ones most capable of doing the same for the people around them. Respect doesn't require agreement, it requires acknowledgement. It allows us to say, "I see you. I may not see things your way, but I see your humanity, and I honor it. and that more than any clever word or grand gesture is what makes trust possible. Reliability is the quiet strength behind trust. It doesn't shout. It doesn't boast. But over time, it speaks louder than any promise. Being reliable means being the kind of person others can count on, not occasionally, not when it's easy, but consistently, especially when it matters most. Reliability is built through follow-through. It means doing what you say you will do when you say you'll do it. It sounds simple, yet it's one of the most powerful demonstrations of character. In a world where people are often overcommitted, distracted, or inconsistent, reliability stands out. It says, "You can depend on me. I don't just talk. I deliver." This doesn't mean perfection. Reliable people make mistakes like everyone else. But what sets them apart is that they take responsibility when they fall short. They communicate. They adjust. They don't hide or make excuses. They find a way to make things right. That kind of accountability reinforces reliability even in the face of setbacks. Reliability is not just about tasks, it's about presence. Sometimes being reliable means simply being there, showing up when someone is in need, listening when someone is struggling, standing by someone when everyone else walks away. It's about emotional dependability as much as practical follow-through. People often assume that being reliable requires grand, heroic acts. But in reality, trust is built in the small things. It's returning a call when you said you would. It's remembering a promise no matter how minor. It's meeting deadlines, honoring commitments, and showing up on time, not just to impress, but because you respect the time and trust of others. In the workplace, reliability creates efficiency and stability. When a team knows they can depend on one another, they can move forward without second guessing. It reduces friction and builds momentum. At home, reliability builds emotional security. When children, partners, or family members know they can trust your word, they feel safe to speak, to grow, to rely on you fully. Being reliable also nurtures your own self-respect. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce a sense of integrity within yourself. You prove to yourself that your word matters. Over time, this becomes a part of your identity, someone who is known not just for good intentions, but for trusted actions. In truth, reliability is one of the clearest signals of trustworthiness. People may admire intelligence or charisma, but it's reliability that earns their trust. Because in the end, trust isn't built on talent or talk. It's built on showing up again and again with steady hands and a steady heart. Empathy is the emotional glue that binds trust in the most profound way. It goes beyond mere understanding or sympathy. It is the ability to truly put ourselves in another person's shoes, to feel what they feel, and to respond with genuine care. Empathy transforms relationships from transactional exchanges into deeply human connections. When we practice empathy, we communicate to others that their feelings, experiences, and perspectives matter. This kind of emotional validation is powerful. It breaks down walls of defensiveness and opens doors to vulnerability. People are more likely to trust those who listen not just with their ears, but with their hearts. Empathy requires more than just hearing words. It demands attentive presence. It means paying close attention to tone, body language, and unspoken cues. It means asking questions not to challenge, but to understand. It involves patience and the willingness to sit with discomfort, especially when others are hurting or struggling. Importantly, empathy doesn't require agreement. We can deeply understand someone's feelings without necessarily sharing their viewpoint or condoning their actions. This distinction is crucial because it allows us to maintain our own integrity while still honoring the humanity of others. Empathy also fosters compassion. When we recognize that others face challenges, fears, and hopes similar to our own, it softens judgment and cultivates kindness. This kindness, in turn, builds trust because people feel safe and supported rather than criticized or dismissed. In leadership, empathy is a cornerstone of effective influence. Leaders who demonstrate empathy inspire loyalty and engagement. They create environments where people feel valued and motivated to contribute their best. In friendships and families, empathy strengthens bonds by nurturing understanding and forgiveness. However, empathy is not always easy. It calls us to step outside our own perspective and sometimes confront uncomfortable truths. It asks us to be vulnerable and open to emotional connection, which can feel risky. Yet it is precisely this vulnerability that deepens trust. Because when we allow ourselves to truly understand another, we invite them to trust us in return. Ultimately, empathy is a bridge that connects hearts. It reassures people that they are seen, heard, and accepted. And in those moments of connection, trust is born, not just as a concept, but as a living, breathing reality. Accountability is the element of trust that transforms promises and intentions into tangible reality. It is the willingness to take full responsibility for our decisions and their consequences, no matter how challenging or uncomfortable that might be. Accountability shows others that we are dependable not only when things go well, but also when things go wrong. Being accountable means owning our mistakes openly, without deflecting blame or making excuses. It means acknowledging when we've fallen short of expectations and committing to making amends or improvements. This level of honesty and humility strengthens trust because it demonstrates integrity, an unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when it's difficult. Accountability also involves transparency in our progress and setbacks. It's about providing clear communication on where we stand, what challenges we face, and what steps we're taking to address them. This openness invites collaboration and support rather than secrecy or avoidance. When we are accountable, we show respect not only for others but for ourselves. We maintain the standards we set and live by the values we profess. This consistency between word and action reinforces our credibility and deepens the confidence others place in us. Moreover, accountability creates a culture of trust in teams and organizations. When every member takes responsibility for their role and commitments, it fosters an environment where people feel safe to take risks, innovate, and grow. It eliminates the blame game and encourages collective problem solving. Yet accountability requires courage. It means facing criticism and sometimes consequences with grace. It challenges our ego and invites growth by highlighting areas for improvement. Those who embrace accountability understand that it is not a punishment, but a pathway to building stronger, more trustworthy relationships. Importantly, accountability is not about perfection. It is about commitment to learn, to improve, and to honor the trust others have placed in us. It assures people that even if we stumble, we will stand back up and keep moving forward with integrity. In every relationship, personal or professional, accountability serves as a promise. I am responsible for my actions, and you can trust that I will be honest about them and strive to do better. This promise is the bedrock upon which lasting trust is built. Closing trust is not a gift freely given. It is earned, nurtured, and preserved through deliberate action. By embracing these 7 elements, honesty, consistency, transparency, respect, reliability, empathy, and accountability, we build not only trust, but meaningful connections that withstand challenges in time. Trust is the foundation upon which all relationships stand. It requires courage, commitment, and care, but the rewards are immeasurable. A community that thrives, teams that excel, and bonds that deepen beyond words. Let us commit ourselves to living these principles every day. Because when trust flourishes, so do we all. Thank you.